afternoon, everybody. They were asked what my favorite dance song is, and I said, of course, it Saved My Night, and I hope during the next 30 minutes I can explain why that is. But after lunch, you're always in a dilemma. If you get the slot after lunch, is that a compliment or is that something that they have to fill up the program? So to start with you, I'd just like to have a little bit of feeling what you do know and don't know about Heineken. So just raise your hands. How many people think that Heineken as a brand has a market share worldwide more than 20%? Raise your hand. Who thinks less than 20%, between 10 and 20? Less than 10? Less than 5? It's 1.5%. And I think that's an important part to know as well, to explain later what we're doing. Although we're still quite small and by no means the largest brand in the world, we do have the biggest footprint of beer brands around the world. Anywhere where beer is sold, Heineken is available. And what we measure by ourselves is the success of an international brand is how many volume you sell outside your home country. And this is where we lead the pack by a mile, I must say, and we're proud of that and we want to keep on doing that. Another question. If you have a glass of orange juice of 100 ml and a glass of beer of 100 ml, who thinks that there's more calorie in beer? Who thinks there's more calories in the orange juice? Who thinks it's the same? It's more or less the same. So, and again, so I think that will lead me to the presentation of today, because we believe at Heineken that alcohol contributes to a positive lifestyle. However, it only contributes if you drink in moderation. And our company is 150 years old and we're proud of this history, but we want to be proud of our future as well. We're family owned still, you've read it in the paper, you've seen the commotion that people wanted to buy Heineken, and the answer was yes, we are for sale in the pubs, but not for other people. But that does mean that we have an extra passion to make sure that the grandchildren of the family Heineken can be still proud of their company as well. There is a big issue in the industry about binge drinking, and this happens around the world. So it is very easy that a brand like Heineken or beer in total or even alcohol in total can be put into the basket, you're a drug, you're ugly and you should be punished. We believe, and there's lots of medical people that support this, that if you drink it in moderation, actually it contributes to a healthy lifestyle. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. And the other thing what I would like to share to you today as well is that the interesting part is, where does that then match with EDM and with dance music? Well, Heineken is a company that is, what we say, born in Amsterdam and raised by the world. If you travel around the world, if you are in New Caledonia or in the Bahamas, every country has its own brewery, has its own national pride and its own brewery. Heineken is always, by definition, except of course in the Netherlands, a visitor. Which is quite interesting with dance as well, because every country has its own music style and music history as well. So EDM is kind of a guest as well. So we like to say we're born in Amsterdam, raised by the world. And if you look at the top 10 DJs here, it looks like dance music has been developed by the Dutch as well. So I think that's where the connection is. Both new to most countries, both developed in a strong heritage in Holland. So you would think that it's a very natural fit to work together. However, the following is true as well, and I would like to share you this video.
Please help me find Molly. She makes my life happier.
Two partygoers died, apparently from using a drug called Molly. That's right, spelled M-O-L-L-Y. Why is it that suddenly we're seeing all these teenagers and young adults doing this drug, Molly?
Kids as guinea pigs for the new drug deal.
This morning, after 2 deaths and 4 others being hospitalized at the festival, the rapid rise of this new drug is now under the microscope.
The real dangers of Molly are being felt one hit, one overdose, one death at a time.
I was not really totally in sync, but I think the message is if you come to your board and say, I have a great idea, I'm going to go into this territory, you can imagine that the board and our public affairs directors are not politically screaming upside down and says, okay, this is what I really want. However, and the other things that we have in Heineken as well, we have an internal rule that we will never use celebrities of the youth to promote our beer. Now, the interesting thing about the moderation movement is, and I don't know if there's any football fans here, but normally when you have a crowd this big, you have some football fans as well. In the last 6 years at Champions League, we have 3 big boards, and one of those boards is dedicated to enjoy responsibly, which is an important and a great investment. But what we've seen from research is that although more than 100 million people in the whole world have seen that message, it doesn't really touch them. And if you then dig in a little deeper, you see that we are actually not entitled to tell people to drink in moderation, because people say, you know, you're a brewery, you want to sell as much as possible. So through the research and through the learnings, we said, listen, we still want to make a difference. And that's for the first time in our history, we've partnered up with the #1 DJ in the world to get the message to the young millenniums, to the young adults, that actually it is cool to drink in moderation and it's cool to stay in control. And if you saw the press that we've got when we announced that, you immediately saw a lot of positive sentiment that the press said, hey, this is a different way to communicate. And that's exactly what we had hoped that the reaction would be. And the media attention was worldwide. And what was even more interesting is that if you tell people, listen, moderation is cool. We know that people will dance all night, but we don't want people to get totally out of their brains, and we want to enjoy, again, responsibly. And this is possible to tell that message to the youngsters around the world. And then again, you saw that EDM is a great vehicle to pass this message, and to do this not on behalf of Heineken alone, but to make it a movement as well. So the experiment that we've started with Armin was for us totally new. It was a little bit of a jump into new waters that we were not familiar with, but we have joint objectives, because what Armin told us as well is I don't want to present when people are totally on drugs or totally out of their minds of alcohol as well. So we had a joint objective where we wanted to make a difference. And I know that it's already been mentioned today, but I'd like to share the video that we've made with what we call the experiment, and that has gone around the world.
Music can provide a natural high. DJs are responsible for giving you that high. If you as a DJ are boring, people need outer stuff to be excited.
Tonight, the DJ saves my night.
I think the experiment works for sure. Because I think if music is good, people hit the dance floor. And the more they dance, the slower they drink.
So I think this was, again, for us to prove that Dance More and Drink Slow works. And I think what we wanted to create is we want to create a movement. And it goes as far that when we introduced this to our own employees that were doing this, that at night we had the party, we played this song, but even at Heineken, where you think that they drink beer, we would serve water during the song to make people alert, listen, drink responsibly. This is the moment. And I would love to see that we can make that movement, that in a night out, that you have the conscience to say, listen, how do I pace myself? How, it is cool to stay in control, and that you drink in moderation. So the campaign anthem, as you know, is Save My Night. It's traveled around the world as well. I think it's in 27 markets. It reached #1. And that's exactly how I think we would like to work. We want to have an anthem that people remind themselves, okay, if that's played, that's the song that associates myself with drink in moderation. We have the downloading and we have the online views. And if you look at the online views and music, sorry, I wanted to share you as well that in all the shows that Armin, or when Armin plays this song, this shows up as well. So he's serious about it as well. And I think if you take partnerships, you want to make sure that both believe in the same result. Otherwise, the partnership is deemed to be extremely short. But if you look at the results, and I think the results I'm extremely proud of. As Heineken, we do quite a lot of marketing, but the video with Armin van Buuren with Dance More Drink Slow is our most watched video online. 26 million people have viewed it. And if you see the sentiment and how long they've watched it online, we all know that the millennials have short attention spans, like to click through very quickly. You can see here on the data that people have really dwelt quite long to see this message. We've activated. What we do as well with our own music events, where possible, we try to activate it, and we try to get our consumers to make aware of this, and this is the moment that you can say, listen, dance more, drink slow. By the way, what's interesting as well, we've really thought about it. What is the message that we want to give as well? We don't want to say dance and don't drink, because people would not think they're credible. So the words dance more, drink slow have been chosen very wisely. And what you see here as well is that quite a lot of people say, listen, hey, actually I believe that. It can be more fun if I stay under control. And if that is something we can create in the coming years, I think we've really achieved. And as marketeers, and sometimes people forget that, you do things to change behavior. Now this is a change behavior that we want to establish. And then to take a little bit on the partnerships that Heineken has, if you look at our history, and if you look at the successful partnerships that we have, take the Holland Heineken House. The Dutchies amongst us will know about the Holland Heineken House. It's a partnership that started more than 20 years ago. Sorry. And we literally, the Dutch Olympic Committee needs to focus that they have the athletes to win gold medals. And there we're looking for, can we have a home away from home so that friends, family, and fans can come together. So that's exactly as Heineken, as the most international beer can do. We know our way around. So we always erect where the Dutch Olympic Committee goes for the Olympics, a great house where they can celebrate their medals. If you look at, the same is true for Champions League. If you look at Champions League, of course, it's a great property as you know today. But I can tell you when it started in 1994, it was called the European Cup. And I think the Champions League today is truly around the world known as the best competition. And we promote with the trophy tour that we take around the world, with digital activations, we promote Champions League and the UEFA brand around the world as well, where we jointly put our marketing programs together. That's how the partnership keeps being refreshed. Same is true for Bond. Heineken has been sponsor of the Bond franchise since 1997. And in the last movie Skyfall, we really said, okay, let's take this now to a next level. We understand how they work. If you know a little bit about films, films tend to be delayed, premieres tend to be delayed, and it's very difficult to activate. So we really got together, listen, that is the window that we want to do it. We had all our markets worldwide at the same time promoting Skyfall. And of course, I tell the Bond guys that it was the best movie ever, in the top 10 best grossed movies ever. And we of course say, listen, yeah, because our marketing power was behind as well. But it was a great film. Sometimes you need a little bit of luck as well, but to make that step of confidence, a vote of confidence from both parties, that they say, we rely on your marketing team to make Skyfall known as well, because films at the end of the day are judged about how many people still on bums on seats. And we do this, so we actually, the contract tells us that we will spend our money 4 to 6 weeks leading up to the release of the movie in that country. And that works for them as well. If you see with Rugby World Cup, I think it's the same. We've been a rugby partner for all those years. Rugby is relatively unknown in the Netherlands, but as I keep on saying, listen, in England next year, there will be almost just as many tickets sold at the Football World Cup last year or this year in Brazil. To give you the scale, 3 million visitors will go to the Rugby World Cup in England. There's on an average rugby match, there's more people than go into the Ajax Stadium. And rugby is quite, an established community. We're a loyal partner because we've built rugby over time with them, and we are appreciated for that. And that's why I'm quite happy today as well to ask Armin to come up, because both of us are committed to the long term of this. Armin. And after the good results of, it's actually only 10 months so far, I'm happy to announce that we will continue and that we are really literally looking forward to create a movement that with the young millenniums, we create a responsible drinking habit.
And I want to say thank you very much for putting the trust in me and our team. And I'd also like to add that with the growth of EDM, I know there's a lot of people here from the Amsterdam Dance event, there's also a shadow side. With every growth, there's always a shadow side. And one of the shadow sides is, with dance music, is the events grow bigger, so the problems are bigger. And the first thing that governments do is that they're scared. They become scared, so they will forbid events. And what we now say as Heineken, and that's why I thought, because I got approached by several brands, but I really wanted to do this because essentially what we're saying is we're pointing people to their own responsibility. And I'm in the position where I can actually tell people, look, it's not cool to be completely wasted. If you drink a little bit less, you'll enjoy the night more. It's simply as that. And I had a lot of conversations with people all around the world who came up to me and said, okay, so you do this campaign. What's the idea behind it? I said, well, I'm not saying don't drink. I'm saying you'll enjoy the night a lot more. You guys look pretty fresh to me. I don't know, maybe you went out last night. But I think if you really take into account that maybe you had a few drinks, but you probably thought, hey, I'm going to a marketing convention tomorrow, so I want to enjoy this, so I'm going to drink a little bit less. And that's the whole idea. And I think what is really cool about a brand like Heineken is that you guys have the guts to come forward with this and actually do this. So I think Heineken deserves a round of applause, if you ask me.
Thank you.